Hey, the Super Bowl is happening this week, and that reminds me to talk about the Super Bowl halftime show. In the early days of the Super Bowl, you had things like marching bands and other things that went out there on the field to kind of entertain at halftime. They didn't really think about the spectacle, and they certainly didn't think about the TV audience. As time progressed, they started to think about the TV audience, and by the 80s, they had things like Up With People, this sort of upbeat, family-friendly sort of musical act would perform. Or a couple of times, I think they had a magician or some other big act that would come onto the field and do something, and they had some dancing performers and things happening. And then in 1992, things changed. That's when the group In Living Color came out and did a performance that was an alternate show. And let's talk about the history of that and how it changed the NFL and its halftime shows. The NFL decided that in 1992, for the Super Bowl that was happening in Minneapolis, they would create a show called Winter Magic. And it was going to feature a couple of ice skaters, and Dorothy Hamill and Brian Boitano, and it was going to have the 1980 men's hockey team out on a stage. There would be a song by Gloria Estefan, and it would sort of capture the wholesome image. People who saw it said it was terrible. Meanwhile, over on the upstart network Fox, remember that Fox was still new at this point, you had the TV show In Living Color. In Living Color featured the Wayans brothers, Jamie Foxx, Rosie Perez, Jennifer Lopez, and Jim Carrey. The show was a sketch comedy show that pushed the limits and really did something unique. People loved it. So they announced in 1992 that they were going to have an alternate halftime show that they would put on. You would switch over to Fox as soon as the teams went into the tunnel, and they would tell you when to come back to watch the second half of the show. So for 20 minutes, they had a crazy show that featured men on football. They had some funny sketches. They had a couple of performers, and it was a lot of fun. It was a very entertaining time. Fox intentionally targeted the 18 to 30-year-old demographic. Fox saw it as there's nothing for us to lose, and yet the numbers told us there was a great deal for them to gain. And the NFL took notice. Roughly about 20 million viewers switched over from the big game to see this halftime spectacle and then come back to the game. That's about a fifth of the audience in total. The NFL decided that they were really out of touch with pop culture and the demographic that they were looking for, and especially among the people you would traditionally consider minorities. And so the NFL made a pivot. The very next year, the king of pop, Michael Jackson, appeared on the stage at halftime. The NFL realizes that it's all about popularity and money. It's all about eyeballs. So thanks In Living Color for changing the way the halftime shows worked and making them at least more compelling.